All right, good evening. I want to welcome everyone to the Village of Ossining Zoning Board of Appeals regular meeting of May 11th, 2021. And again, due to the public health and safety concerns associated with COVID-19, the board is meeting via video conference using the Zoom platform in accordance with the governor's executive orders. There is no public participation in person tonight. Rather, the public can watch the live meeting online via Zoom. Notice of tonight's meeting was published as required and posted on the village's website. The web notice included instructions for members of the public to access the meeting and to participate in any public hearings. Comments will only be taken during the public hearing portions of the meeting as usual. In order to participate, please do the following. Members of the public attending online via the Zoom app may use the raise hand feature at the appropriate time if you would like to make a comment. The feature is located at the bottom of the screen. Those attending via telephone can press *9. The meeting host will see that your hand is raised or that you have pressed *9 and will unmute those waiting one at a time so that you can speak. Lastly, comments can be emailed during the meeting to J. Martinez at villageofossining.org. That's JMARTINEZ at villageofossining.org. Any written comments will be read into the record. Please note that tonight's meeting is being recorded and a video transcript will be provided at a later date. I'm going to give you a few ground rules. Our ground rules are in order to keep the meeting orderly and to ensure we get a clear recording, please follow these rules. When you're given access to speak, please state your name and address. If you are speaking during the public hearing, please limit your comments to the matter which is the subject of the hearing. If any speaker is inappropriate, they will be immediately cut off and access removed. To the board members, please mute yourselves when you are not speaking. To the board members, again, I will call on you one at a time to speak to avoid everyone speaking at once. If you wish to speak at any time when I am not calling on you, you may also use the raise hand function or literally just raise your hand so I can see you and call on you. We will use roll call voting for purposes of all board motions. This is to ensure that the record is clear. Thanks to everyone as we continue to navigate through conducting our meetings via the Zoom platform. For the benefit of the record, we are going to do a roll call to kick things off. When I say your name, please indicate that you are present.
Hello.
Hello.
Amanda, would you do the roll call vote for us tonight?
Yeah, George, we can hear you. Okay, so Marlene Sheet.
Here.
George Bailing.
Hello, Amanda. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I just can't figure out how to get on.
You're fine, George.
Okay.
Okay.
Bob Durayo.
I'm here.
Kevin Griffith is not here, and Mark
mute me, says.
No, I don't want to mute.
You're mute, so unmute yourself.
Hey George, you're speaking right now, so I'm gonna mute you, and you can unmute yourself when.
I don't want to mute.
Okay.
Unmute yourself when you're ready to talk.
Okay. So Mark Gorechny, I don't think we heard you say.
Here.
Okay, thank you. Then we also have Planning Director Jaime Martinez, Planning Board Secretary Jamie Kane, Building Inspector Agostinelli, and Land Use Secretary Amanda Brosey, and our liaison Bob Fritchie.
Hello. All right. I just haven't quite figured it out.
The agenda for tonight. Thank you, Miss Amanda, for walking us through that. On for tonight is the continuing business of the board is ZBA 29-2020. 158 Revolutionary Road. Ellen Kera Geiger is the owner. Is there anyone to speak on behalf of this applicant?
I don't know. It just drives me fucking crazy.
George? George, George, George.
I guess he can't hear us.
I muted George.
I know, but he can't hear us, I don't think.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Nonetheless, call-in user, you are here. You can speak. You just got to take yourself off mute. Ellen.
Ellen Kera Geiger, are you on?
So she is.
Hello?
Yeah, Ellen. Somebody's here for Ellen. I'm not sure what the issue is with the call-in right now, but I can probably take you through
Where's
this.
the volume
It's pretty
on it?
simple.
Yeah,
It's
so So this applicant is seeking an extension of an area variance for a side yard setback for construction of an addition. This was submitted back in October of
Maybe
2020.
here.
And the variance was actually granted in November 10th of 2020. So this was submitted back in October of 2020. And the variance was actually granted in November 10th of 2020.
there seems to be a delay on George's end.
Can we pause for a second and figure this out? Because the record's going to be all jumbled.
I've muted it. I'm gonna have to. So George, we're gonna have to keep you on mute for now. Just please don't unmute yourself until you're ready to speak. So,
I don't hear it.
Marlene, it's echoing back. So my guess is that the sound is coming through on his side.
Okay, can
I
you
don't know
hear
if you
me
can hear
okay?
it, but it is. You know, if it's echoing back, then you know, I don't know that we can do anything. You still have a quorum without George.
Yeah,
So
I understand. But the record is going to be really messed up if this keeps happening.
Right, but you can hear me fine?
Yes.
yes.
Okay. All right. So we can, I guess, to make it clear, if we mute George through the process, unless he is speaking and through the roll call, I don't know if he can hear us. That was my issue.
George, if you can hear us, can you put your thumbs up? Put a thumbs up if you can hear us. Jamie, do you want to call George on his phone?
Okay, we can, I'm going to suggest, and Amanda, you can tell me yes or no. Can we move forward without George? We do have 3. Okay, so.
Yes, you can move forward. If he starts talking again and you're talking over each other, just stop because your
Right.
transcript's going to be all messed up.
That's correct. Okay. So Jaime, I don't know if anybody is on for this, but can you walk us through this? This is actually a variance that has already been granted. They're coming back for an extension.
Correct.
And I believe it is that they have not started construction.
No, they have not started construction. So the variants were granted in November of 2020. They're coming back for an extension. They actually, what happened is the individual who did this, the original architect sort of, I guess, stopped working on the job. And so it's been transferred over to a new architect. And some new drawings have been prepared, but it's not clear whether or not the new submission that we expect to come is going to adhere to the existing variance or not. So because of that, we recommended that the applicant just go for the extension, since there's no harm to continuing to get that area variance extension. And, you know, once we have a chance to go over the application, which I think we're going to do next week, we'll know they may end up coming back here for a larger variance, but they may not. So we just don't know. So this is basically an extension of what was approved, exactly what was approved in November.
So I think we should move forward with opening the public hearing.
Make a motion, Bob Durai making a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
We have a motion to open the public hearing. If there is no objection to opening the public hearing, The public hearing is now open. Since there really is no one to speak on this project, then may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
And a motion to close the public hearing is moved.
Jaime, can you make sure there's nobody here?
We can't hear you, Jaime. Oh.
There is not. So I believe that everybody who is here for another project.
All right.
There's only one person who's not associated with that project, but I don't think they're here for this edition.
Okay.
Extension.
Thank you for checking.
Yeah.
May I have a second to the motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
If there's no objection, the public hearing is now closed. As this is just an extension, we can just have a motion to extend the area variance for the side yard as granted in November 10th, 2020.
So moved, Bob DeRio.
Second, Mark Rossi.
Motion to grant the area variance that was originally granted November 10th, 2020. Roll call vote.
And do you want to make it subject to all the same conditions it was originally subject to?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes. Yes.
yes,
All right, roll call vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're asking me. Marlene Cheatham,
Aye.
George Bailing,
yes,
Bob DeRio,
Aye.
and Mark Gorechny.
Aye.
All right. Motion passes 4-0.
So the motion is carried. I don't know I guess we can get the message to the owner.
Yeah, well, I'll let her know tomorrow. I have a guess that they know now. Whoever is the call-in user raised their hand as soon as, is anybody here for this? So somebody raised their hand but couldn't manage to communicate. So my guess is that they're here now. I may see an email from, Ellen, if you're there, you can send me an email now and let me know that you heard this. If not, I will reach out to you. Okay, so the next
is ZBA 05-2021, 14 Water Street, Building Works LLC. Is there someone on to speak on behalf of this project?
there are a lot of people here for this.
Okay.
Hi, Eric Churchill.
And Mr. Churchill.
So we have a very brief update for everybody tonight on where we've been in the last month. Since we last presented to you, we've been moving the ball forward in a few different ways. The first is that we presented to the planning board, and following the planning board meeting, we've also submitted our initial draft of the SWIP for comment, and we've responded to Keller Sessions' initial comments with submission of more developed civil engineering drawings. And so the large other thing that we've been trying to move forward with is the issue of parking that we discussed here last month. We've been referred to the Board of Trustees to discuss 3 potential remedies that we strongly support on behalf of the existing residents of the community and us as hopefully future residents of this community. Those 3 items are to allow a street parking overnight on Water Street and the surrounding streets, which could add 24 spaces of overnight parking. A proposal to change the train station lot on Water Street to a municipal lot, which could add 16
On
spaces.
Main Street, I think is what you're referring to. Not on, are you talking about Water Street or on Main Street? There is one on both Water Street and on Main Street.
Yes. on Main Street is the municipal lot that is being discussed to change from a train station lot to a municipal lot, which could add 16 spaces and a potential expansion of that same said lot on Main Street, which could add 5 to 6 spots. Again, we are fully supportive of these as we think they will have a very positive impact on the existing residents and us hopefully joining as future residents. So that's where we are, and happy to take questions.
You get them?
Yeah.
Good. Oh, that's great, George. So they can hear you, right?
I can't hear you.
At this point, I'm going to refer to our attorney. I know this is before the trustee board, and there needs to be some issues that need to be answered. Can we table this pending information from them in order to move forward?
So yeah, at this point, you have circulated your notice of intent to be lead agency, and that includes circulation to the Board of Trustees, who can either take affirmative action to say they're okay with you being lead agency, or they can wait for the 30-day window to close. And then after the 30-day window closes, you will become lead agency for purposes of SECRA. And we'll see what happens here, but that 30 days has not elapsed yet, and they have not, taken a motion to say that they are okay with you being lead agency. So we can't really do anything until that time elapses or they pass such a motion.
Okay. So if I remember correctly, the public hearing was adjourned from our last meeting. It was, so at this point, I would ask that we continue with the adjournment of this ZBA 05-2021 until we both complete the SECRA time and or hear from the Board of Trustees.
I make a motion to adjourn.
If I may.
Can you identify yourself for the record?
Thank you. Yes, Ron Steinverzel and Levy on behalf of the applicant. It is our understanding from Mr. Khan that the Board of Trustees did pass on taking lead despite the 30 days not having passed. It was my understanding that they did
Mr.
conclude.
Steinberg, I'd like to sort of adjust that a little bit. My understanding is that they did pass, but they did not pass a resolution saying that they were going to defer. So I think that even if they discussed amongst themselves, they have not made any affirmative action, as Amanda mentioned, to say that they're not going to take it. They have not sent a letter to the board saying that they're not going to take it. So at this point, I don't believe that we're in a position to say that the 30 days are not going to go on. I think we did get that from the planning board, but we did not receive anything like that from the Board of Trustees.
So I think we're going to continue with the motion that is on the floor to adjourn.
I'm sorry, Ms. Cheatham, I apologize. And Jaime, you I'm sure are correct. I'm just kind of surprised because I did get an email from Stu last Wednesday saying that the Board of Trustees does not object to the ZBA serving as lead agency, and I've advised the planning director and land use council. I don't think he was expecting the need to pass a resolution to that effect.
I'm not going to go back and forth, and this is me, until we are sure that Jamie has all of the paperwork at hand. I'm going to once again ask that we continue with the to adjourn this until such time as all paperwork is in and we have heard officially from the village board which way they are going with this and where we are. I would just ask that we put it on for next month, if that is okay.
Of course,
Thank you.
it's your prerogative, of course, but
All right,
may
so
I just inquire of the secretary whether Stu Kahan has so advised the board of the trustees' conclusion, as he mentioned to me in his email?
I'm going to stop you right there, because if he has given it to Jamie, it has not gone to the zoning board and we have no record of it. So I'm just going to say, once again,
Yeah.
I'd like to adjourn this until such time as one more, and we have all of the paperwork necessary to move forward on this case.
I would make an amendment to adjourn.
May I get a second to
I'll-
adjourn?
I'll second Mark Rutschney.
Okay. May we have a roll call vote?
Marlene Cheatham,
Aye.
George Bailing,
Yes.
Bob Durayo. Bob Durayo
Yes, aye.
and Mark Gorechny.
Aye.
So we will adjourn and we'll ask that this come on our, what month is this? Our June agenda. And hopefully by then, all of the paperwork necessary will be in the hands of the zoning board, okay? Because that's where we haven't seen anything or heard anything. So I would like to be able to have it all in front of us before we can make a determination as to where we go with this project.
May I ask, please, what paperwork you seek so we can be sure to get it to you, please? Because our understanding was it was provided.
I'm sure that by the time you're coming back in June, it won't even matter. The 30 days will be up.
Right.
We had, just Amanda, so we had extensive discussions with Stu to get this done without having to wait the 30 days. So this is all kind of a surprise to us, honestly.
Okay, I'm not aware that that was what you were in hopes of doing.
But Stu we had extensive conversations with him, and his correspondence to me specifically says that they are not going to take lead and that they are advising you, that Stu was to advise you and the secretary of this. So with all due respect to everybody.
Can I stop you there? Because, and I'm going to say this from the zoning board members themselves, whether Stu had a conversation with you or someone else, it puts us in a place where we don't have all the information necessary to move forward to even go through with the rest of this application. I don't want to put us in a place that we're making a determination based on half information. I honestly do not, it would not go anywhere tonight, and I don't think that it's fair to you or the rest of the zoning board to continue to go forward. We're not in the place to talk about this right now. And
I agree.
Okay, and I'm just going to stop it right here and say that this is adjourned until next month.
Good job, Marlene.
I think that Ron, Jaime already kind of addressed any action that the Board of Trustees took on this. And that was that they had discussed it at their meeting and they didn't take any formal action on it. And so I think that's that.
Thank you, Amanda. Take a look at the email, please, that I just sent you, and maybe you and I can discuss this offline.
I'd be
Thank
happy
you.
to do that.
Thank you, everyone, for coming on this.
Yep. Thank you.
We look forward to seeing you next month.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Next.
Next on our agenda is ZBA 06-2021, and I'm going to put them together because it's also ZBA 07-2021. 78 Prospect Avenue and 53 Bellevue Avenue. For those who have been on the board more than 10 days, we have heard from these applicants before. Their variances were granted in June 2020, but they have since expired. So they are coming back to us for, I believe, the same variances that we had granted in the past. But their variances expired, so I think we have to go through the entire process again. Is that correct, Amanda?
You can, if you feel that you want to conduct an expedited process here, which I would say is you don't have to go through every single factor, especially if there's no opposition. I would say that's probably safe. And I would consider the fact that you did add some conditions when you originally approved these variances, and you should consider those again if they've already been met or if they are still outstanding. And, you know, still do a review, but.
There are a few points. So Mr. Curtis is here, and he can speak up once he's ready. I just wanted to note a couple of components to this project. So the applicant did originally get the approval in June 2020. Eventually, they were able to get in their demolition permit. They were able to get in for their permit. They merged or I think they either not merged, but they filed for the easement, which was something that really needed to be done right before pulling the permit. So they have made significant progress towards getting the project started. Considering they demolished the garage that was sort of the main impediment to building a building on that lot. So, you know, with that, I'll kind of hand it over to Otis Curtis. But it's you know, as Amanda mentioned, it's your decision to make here. But because so much progress has really been made on this project and there's no change, it may warrant a you know, an expedited process. I imagine they would have filed for their extension if they hadn't realized that it had expired. So.
Okay, so you said someone was here to speak on this. I'm sorry, Jaime.
Otis Curtis, yeah, he's here.
Mr. Curtis, welcome. May I have a motion from the board to open the public to hear? Well, we'll hear from Mr. Curtis first.
Mr. Curtis, we can't hear you.
Are you speaking?
Yeah, he's not muted, but we can't hear him.
Oh.
Either you have some headphones in or that are Bluetooth is connected to some headphones that are not on.
So Jaime, do you have in your paperwork the original variances that were granted with the
yeah, I mean, there's two separate types of variances. So there's
right.
Some parking and loading variances for 78 Prospect, and then for 53 Bellevue, there are parking and loading as well as some parking, other parking variances. We do have, you know, I'm trying to see, do we have the actual resolutions here? Jamie?
I can tell you that 53 Bellevue, it had to create 4 parking spaces, and I believe they had 3. And they also needed a variance for the setback because they have a shared driveway, and the driveway, there's a setback for the driveway, and 78 Prospect was the setback for not having the full 4 feet for the driveway as well. It's a shared driveway.
Right.
Right. So you see, here's that shared driveway. The driveway is all the way to the edge of the property line. And then here's the parking in the back. And I think that
The house at 53 Bellevue is a two-family, they had to create 4 off-street parking spaces, and they had 3.
And they had 3. That's correct.
I think Mark might need a little bit of background information here.
Yeah, I mean, I reviewed the documents, but
Go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Curtis.
Mr. Curtis, you're gonna want to go mute on one. You're gonna want to turn down the volume on one of your 2
I
different.
did it as fast as I could. I apologize. Before we could not hear me, so I didn't think I had any audio. Sorry about that.
Okay, Mr. Curtis, welcome.
Thank you.
Is there anything, any updates to this project that you would like to give us?
Sure. I just will top line that this project was pursued in earnest, and I apologize if I'm repeating. I only heard part of Jaime, but we pursued the demolition work. Nothing has changed with respect to the proposed project as submitted originally and approved in June. And essentially the new home is ready to go. In fact, it's a modular home that's already built.
Just to add to that, to the board, they did submit an application. Everything has been reviewed for the plans. Everything is ready to issue for permit. The only thing awaiting permit to be issued is just have the variances granted or extended again. Once that's done, they're ready for a permit.
Can you just make sure for the record that the variances are on the record, what they are? I know we keep saying the same ones that were granted before, but
Right. That's
clear.
so
I recall that one of the conditions of both of the last resolutions that was that his updated zoning worksheet needed to be submitted. So not sure if that has ever been done.
yeah, I believe that this is the new ones. Because there was a 4-foot both side yard setback for 78 Prospect and a 4-foot driveway setback. The off-street parking, the variance for the one space, and the 4-foot for 53 Bellevue. And I believe that was for the driveway also. Am I correct, Joe?
Actually, you know what might be easy is I can just read from both of the old resolutions, because then it makes it really clear.
Okay, if you have them in front of you.
I do.
Perfect. Go ahead.
So for 53 Bellevue, the request was they were seeking variances from section 270-30A3 and 270-9 of the code to permit construction of a driveway within the required driveway setback and the construction of a non-conforming number of parking spaces. 3 will be provided where 4 are required. That was 53 Bellevue. And for Prospect Avenue, the applicant is seeking 2 4-foot area variances from section 270-30A3 and 270-9 of the code to permit construction of a driveway within the required driveway setback and to permit construction within the combined side yards so that the applicant may construct a new single-family house on an existing non-conforming lot. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
I know, I think at this time, is Jaime, I'm going to open the public hearing.
Motion to open the public hearing.
May I have a second?
second, Mark Rechny.
If there's no one to object, the public hearing is now open. Jaime, is there anyone to speak on this matter?
There's one person here and their hand is not raised, so no.
So then, may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to
moved.
close.
Okay, second.
Amanda, I just want to make sure that we're doing this correctly. Since their original their original variances have expired, do we need to go through the whole process again, or can we just
I would say you don't need to, if you don't feel that you want to go through every single condition, I would say that, you know, you've considered whether these variances meet the criteria for area variances in the code, and you find that they do. If you feel that way, or you can go through all of the factors and you can consider them again. You do have a new board member here, so I mean, I guess that's something you need to consider, that Mark wasn't here when you voted on this last time. Or you can, yeah, you can kind of make that statement up front and then vote on, I would do the 53 Bellevue and then vote separately.
Yep, perfect.
Or you can go through all the factors.
Okay, so I'm going to ask Mr. Mark how he feels, if he would like us to go through everything and vet out this entire project again.
No, I did look it over. Generally, obviously, I wouldn't have the detail that everyone did. I think I have a general grasp of it, so no need.
No need? Okay.
Yeah.
So if our new board member feels comfortable with going through, without going through the entire process, then I would like a motion that grants the variance that we'll start with 78 Prospect, ZBA 06-2021, the applicant is seeking, that was originally submitted, originally granted back in June of 2020, with the any conditions that were to the original application and original grant, that they would still remain in place. If that is amenable to the board, then I would ask to have a motion to that effect.
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
I believe we should have.
Yes. Marlene Cheatham,
Aye.
George Bailing,
Aye.
Bob Daria,
Aye.
and Mark Gorechny.
Aye.
Okay.
So that motion is carried for ZBA 06-2021, 78 Prospect Avenue. For 53 Bellevue Avenue, ZBA 07-2021. Again, that variance was granted in June of 2020 and have since expired, but there have been no changes to the by the developer. Things are, so again, with conditions that were granted back in 2020, with the same application that was given and granted then, I would ask once again that we would have a motion to grant this applicant's request with the same conditions in place.
So moved.
Second.
So that was Mr. Dario made the motion and Mr. Bailing seconded. Again, roll call vote.
Marlene Cheatham,
Aye.
George Bailing,
Aye.
Bob Daria,
Aye.
and Mark Gorechny.
Aye.
Okay, that ends. Mr. Otis, happy building. Mr. Curtis, I'm sorry, happy building.
Thank you.
And, you know, everything should be completed in 6 months, right?
Thank you very much.
Okay, enjoy. That ends the agenda for today.
Hi.
The additional business of the board is the approval of the minutes from the April 13th, 2021 meeting. May I have a motion to adopt the minutes with
So
any
moved.
necessary corrections.
So moved.
Yeah.
Second.
Motion, okay, motion by Mr. Grechny, second by Mr. DeRio. All, if there's no objection to the approval of the minutes, then the motion will carry. The minutes will be approved as written with any necessary corrections. I believe that is the end of our meeting for tonight.
And I say good night to all and good
Yeah.
This is the first meeting to end where it's sunny out.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Wow.
Never
So,
happened.
a motion to adjourn.
May I have a motion to adjourn?
motion to adjourn.
Yes. Seconded.
Second, okay. I'm not even gonna ask if they're all in favor, because I see everybody's hand raised, whether they're raised or not.
Aye.
Hello.
I will see everyone in June. So we will have a June meeting, a July meeting, and I believe we are off for the month of August. Jaime keeps reminding me of that, so just want to let everyone know and the public to know that we will be meeting in June and
That'll be our
July.
vacation month.
Yes, we will be off for the month of August.
Yes.
Right.
All right.
I'd like to
Have a
say
good night.
goodbye to everybody and enjoy.
Good night,
Yes, you
everybody.
too. Good night.